Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show this Sunday. Sunday, the 25th of October, 2020. I almost said 19. So used to saying like 1975. Whatever. Okay. Anyway, I want to put a great thanks out to Neil McCoy. I put a program of his. I've made a link to it on this show. And, he has given us the real information, what's really going on. He's in London. He's going around London, looking at the closed businesses and stuff, and looking at the situation on the ground in London, and not part of the mainstream, but giving us the real scoop on what's happening. And it's worse than I thought. I mean, I'm up here in the sticks in Nova Scotia, and I got the internet, I got high speed, but I can't see everything. I can't be on the ground. I can't have boots on the ground in some of these cities around to see what's really going on. And taking London as an example, oh my gosh. Guys, oh my gosh. You got to go to that show I linked, and you got to see what's actually happening out there. The only part of the economy that's functioning now is mostly food distribution, fast food, takeaway, and grocery stores and stuff. All the rest, it's just basically shuttered. The whole entire world economy is shuttered. And, when I saw this program, I had chills when I saw what's going on in downtown London. And immediately what I thought is, it's like walking out on the beach, say a person lived near the water, and all of a sudden, for some strange reason, they saw all the water disappear. And they're walking way out where the water used to be, and they're picking up shells and stuff, and they're talking to each other, saying, "Where did all the water go? Where did all the water go?" And they look out to the ocean, and they see an enormous, mile-high wave coming at them. Right now, we are in the point, where people are walking around picking up the shells and wondering where did all the water go. The tidal wave's coming. This is it, This is the big one, guys. The water's all, if you look at the cities and, you go down noontime or lunchtime, in the middle of a big capital city, like New York or whatever, and it's just like dead. In London, dead. And probably Tokyo. I haven't seen Tokyo, but it's probably the same. Anywhere on earth you want to go. And this is the warning, like the water draining out of the harbor before the big tidal wave's coming. Okay, so what's the solution to this? I hate to say this, but central bank digital currencies, and they better get them here fast. And they better start dispensing them out there as fast as they can. Otherwise, this whole system's just going to crack up. I mean, the whole thing's just going to deflate, and it's just going to stop. It's going to stop. I mean, completely stop. Even the fast food takeaway and the few Walmarts that might still be open or whatever, and a few grocery stores, it'll all just stop. The ATMs, the banking machines, and then the telecommunications, and then the electric power grid goes down. That's what'll happen if they don't get some money and inject some liquidity into this system. And they got to do it soon. And the only answer to this, the only way to do that now at this point, that'll really function, because when they do monetary theory and they do stimulus the old-fashioned way, they've been doing it all along, none of the money gets out there to the people. It's short-circuited, and it ends up going into what's called a liquidity trap. So it just makes a very few people very rich. And they can pump all they want that way, and that ain't going to help. The only way now, at this situation, with what's happened, to stop a total meltdown of the entire world, which would be absolutely devastating. The only way to really stop it is MMT, modern monetary theory. And now what we've done is we've entered into an area like, it's almost like if you're going through a maze, you have to go through that certain spot to advance. And now what they've done is they've created a situation in the world where there is no other way out. We have to have modern monetary theory. We have to have the central banks. It's either that or have the system completely freeze. So we have to move ahead with this. And the only answer is central bank digital currencies to get the money directly to the place where it's needed the most, which is the people out there, So they got to hurry up on this, because watching what I saw on that show about London Has Fallen by Neil McCoy, watching what I saw and thinking about it for a minute, I would say we only got a few months left before the system will freeze. If they don't start injecting money in, it's going to take massive, let's just face it, it's going to take massive amounts of liquidity in the form of MMT, in the form of, and this is the only, in central bank digital currencies, it's the only way they can move at this point to stop the system from freezing, and it's going to take massive amounts. And, a couple things is going to happen here. This is also the way forward to get us out of debt. You say, well, Glenn, that sounds crazy. How can you get us out of debt by creating more debt? Piles of more debt. And the answer is hyperinflation. This is going to cause massive inflation. You just cannot have MMT and have a central bank digital currency that you're giving money to every single person in the country, just giving it to them, without it causing massive inflation. And the real trick to get us out of this situation is to cause the massive inflation, but to do it in a way so that you don't have it come all at once, so that you have it set in kind of slowly. So they'll have to control their MMT to a certain point. They just can't go and give everybody $100,000. So they're going to have to select, and they're going to have to be selective in how they do this, so that they don't cause a massive inflation immediately, a sudden jolt, so that inflation starts slow, and what they need is a slow build of inflation, and then they need to do it a little bit faster, and let the system climatize to that massive surge of inflation, so that everybody gets used to everything costing more and more and more. And so the spending increases faster and faster and faster. This is what they need to do. And then they need to work it in slowly. Toward the end, there's going to be no slowing it down, actually, though. But what they can do is the central planners can work towards some sort of a solution as this eats away at the debt. And what I mean by that is, it doesn't really matter what the debt is, given a number. 26 trillion, 36 trillion, 46 trillion, 100 trillion, it doesn't matter. The inflation will handle it. The inflation will take care of it, because what will happen is as the inflation gets higher and higher and higher, at a certain point, that debt won't be such an enormous debt load anymore. It'll be worthless. It'll all go to its net value of zero. So the debt in the end will go to its net value of zero, but so will the currency. And what they have to do is they have to start thinking about the exit strategy for them. And there's only one exit strategy that's going to work. I can already tell you guys right now. If they try an exit strategy where they create a new digital currency backed by nothing, it'll, at the end of the hyperinflation, that'll lose value an awful lot quicker even than the old fiat currency that was backed by nothing. And so then they'll be caught in a trap where the old currency's dead. It's been hyperinflated away to zero. They need something new as a means of exchange. They need a new currency. If they try to create some new digital currency backed by nothing, it'll go to zero almost immediately. So that's not going to be a solution for them. And at that point, there's only one solution left. The final solution. They have to have something of value, hard money, backing their fiat currency. No, actually, I just, sorry guys, backing their new non-fiat currency, I should say. A currency backed by something, backed by hard money. That's going to be the only solution. That's where all this is going to lead in the final end game, to a reset at the end of the hyperinflation. When the dollar's gone to zero, all the other fiat currencies have gone to zero, then they have to do a reset into hard money. And so what we're going to have is not just the United States, but every country on earth being forced back, kicking and screaming maybe, but being forced back into hard money as a backing for their currencies. Countries that have gold are going to probably use gold. China most definitely probably is going to use gold. I would say it's most likely, I conclude that, but it's probably the most likely conclusion, is China will probably use gold. If the United States does have their 8,000 tons, they'll probably use gold. Germany will probably use gold. A lot of these bigger countries will probably use gold, and then they'll want more gold. So they'll buy up all the gold. The central banks then at that point will buy up all the gold that's left on earth available for sale to add to their gold supplies. And countries that don't have any gold, like Canada, that was foolish enough to not have any gold reserves, which is the silliest thing on earth, are going to be struggling to try to get a gold reserve. And it's going to be impossible because it's all going to be bought up. They're going to snatch it all up for their reserves. So what are they going to use? What's Canada going to use? Bitcoin? They might... seriously, a lot of these countries that don't have sufficient gold reserves are going to have to search for some sort of an alternative to gold. So, in this situation, we've been talking about how gold is going to be the new world reserve currency and basically going to take the place of the fiat currencies. And a lot of people think, well, it's going to be and/or. They think, okay, it's going to be either gold or Bitcoin. And a lot of people out there say it's going to be Bitcoin. A lot of people out there say it's going to be gold. What if it's both? What if the bigger countries, like China, United States, Germany and stuff, they use gold? But what if a lot of the smaller countries can't get any gold? Not enough anyway. Maybe they have some, but not enough. They might supplement with Bitcoin. Bitcoin's standing there saying, use me. And I'm just thinking to myself, what if Bitcoin might become a central bank holding? Central banks might start holding it as a preferred asset to back their new currencies. So it might be gold and Bitcoin. Might be both worth a fortune. Both of them. Well, Bitcoin is a digital version of gold, So we might be looking at a world where we're heading in this direction. So, that's why I've been telling my viewers all along, you should have a little bit of Bitcoin, and you should have some gold, and you should have some silver. Those three things is what I advocate. Gold, silver, and I'm going to tell you, I'll be honest with you guys. Of those three things, my preference goes to silver. Silver is the big one. I think silver is going to make gains that are going to be unreal, for people that hold silver stackers and stuff. I think ultimately, in the end, I think silver is going to be the big one. It's going to make the biggest gains. Bigger gains than gold. Gold, I think, is going to make bigger gains probably, or just as big as Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is going to make astronomical gains. I'll tell you where you don't want to be. You don't want to be in some of these, like there's thousands of different coins out there, these coins. You want to be very, very careful how far down on that list you go on those digital, what's called altcoins in the cryptocurrency world. You want to be very, very careful how far down on that list you go. Because, a lot of those altcoins are just not going to make it. They're going to become worth zero, just like the fiat. You know, there's not room for like, what is there, like 4,000 different ones? There's not room for all of them. Stay close to the Bitcoin. Like, not far. Like, the closer you are to the Bitcoin, like, then you're more safe, you know? Like, that's the thing. That's my motto, you know? And it's the same way with gold and silver. If you're a silver stacker out there, right? Don't go for your far out stuff like like some of these guys, you know, spend a lot of money on far out weird silver. You know, stick with your eagles and your maples. Seriously, guys, because in the end, when you get ready for your end game, when you want to cash in, it's gonna be an awful lot easier on you. You know, and you don't pay much difference for some of this screwball silver. You know, things like, I don't know, things that are way out on the limb. You know, like you pay almost as much as you do for the eagles and for the maples. And those are the two most popular ones, eagles and maples. You know, stick with those. That's my advice. You know, is to stick with those in your physical silver. You know. Anyway, listen. Oh, and another thing. Be very careful not to buy any Chinese fake silver. Don't never go for a bargain. If some guy's offering you 10% less than spot, you don't get bargains on silver. And he's going to sell them to you in the back alley someplace. And you go in there and you meet him and you got cash. And he hauls the coins out and they look perfect. Oh, they're beautiful, you know. They look, oh, look at these eagles. Oh, aren't they nice, you know. And you buy two tubes of eagles off of him, and he says, well, you're a great customer. I'll offer you a third roll of eagles for half price. You know? You get them home, you put them on a bench grinder, and you're going to see copper or some coppery looking metal inside them, because they're just a coating of silver on top, and they're made in China. And they got you, you know? So don't go for that. Always go for a very reputable company, you know, like Kitco or Atmex or a big, go for a big company like Gold Silver Bull, or I could name a whole bunch of them, you know. But don't go for these cheap around the alleyway companies, you know, that's going to give you a bargain. Because, or maybe, I don't know if you can still find those, but China is out there and they're forging silver and they're making silver coins that look so real, so amazingly real, you know? Anyway, listen, guys. Thank you for listening to my show. Give me a thumbs up. We'll catch you guys in the next episode. Bye-bye.